Yeah. So yesterday we have discussed keywords, data types, and also we have discussed variables. Okay, just basic variables. So we have discussed. Okay, today also we have to discuss about the variables, because so variables we have different types in Java. Okay, so the types we haven't discussed, just how to give the name to the like some value we have discussed, and also keywords and data types. Yesterday we have discussed these topics. So today we will discuss types of variables, operators, and also conditional statements and looping statement we will discuss. Okay. So what are types of variables? Okay, basically we have two types of variables. Okay, variables are nothing but names of some data. Okay, after you creating the data, you will provide the name to it. Okay, so these variables we have different types. Okay, types of variables. Okay, one is global variable. One is global variable. Global variables. And second one is local variables. Global variables and local variables. So today we will discuss only local variables. Okay, global variables I will explain later, maybe tomorrow. And after this, we have operators. Okay, then conditional statements. And looping statements with condition. Okay, so today we will discuss these four topics. So again, from types of variables, we will discuss only local variables. Okay. See, yesterday, so we have defined data types and variables. Along with the data types, we have created some variables, right? So whatever you create outside of methods, suppose if we have multiple methods, okay, you have main method, and also we have created different other methods, display method and addition method. Okay, suppose if you create variables outside of inside a class block or an interface block or enum block, if you create, if you define, if you declare any variable outside of the methods, okay, these variables we call it as global variables. Okay, whatever we define here, those are global variables. For these global variables only, we have again two different categories, these global variables. Okay, one is instance and another one is static. Okay, what is instance, what is static, what is global variable, we will discuss later. So today we will discuss local variables. Okay, so the same variables, if you define inside a method like this, suppose if you create a some variable inside a method, this comes under local variable. Okay, so you can give the same name. Okay, for global variables and local variables, you can give the same name. Suppose you created byte 1, right? The same name you can give. Duplicate name also you can use for local variables. Okay, again, we cannot use static or instance inside the methods. Okay, you should not use static or instance. So still we haven't discussed this static instance. So just declare data type variable and its value. Okay, you can create with the duplicate name. Okay, you can have both global variable and local variable with the same name. Okay, so if you define inside a method, this comes under local variable. If you define outside the method, it comes under global variables. The very simple logic is, suppose if you declare outside the method, okay, outside all of the methods, you can access all these variables inside all these methods. Okay, you can access these variables inside all these methods. But if you declare inside a method, these two variables you cannot access in these two methods. Okay, these are method specific variables. Okay, whatever the method you use, so wherever you create these variables, suppose if you create inside a display method, you can access that variable inside that display method only. You cannot access in other addition method or main method. So that is the reason these variables we call it as local variables. Okay, so global variables, if you declare outside of all the methods, you can access this data across all these methods. Okay, these are global variables. Okay, how to like work with local variables, I will explain. So let me create a separate class for this. Okay, inside a demo class, so local variables, class name is local variables. So you can use all the primitive data types and also non-primitive data type. Okay, for both local variable and global variable. So I use just int a equals to some 100. So let me use boolean 1 equals to some true, byte 1, you can use some any number. Similarly, you have start. Okay, based on its size, I'm writing here. Okay. So int some value 1000. Okay, long 10,000. Similarly, we have float. And we have double. Okay, so generally when to use double. Okay, so float it accept up to some decimal value, it will accept up to some decimal value. Okay, suppose if we have exponent numbers. Okay, for exponent numbers it may not allow. Okay, for huge exponent numbers. Okay, but double can accept exponent any type of exponent value also. Okay, so we have so different types of again exponent values like that we have. So again after exponent we have some conditions. Okay, mathematics also. So most of the time if you have huge exponent value, in that case you have to go with the double. Okay, so next we have string some hello. So if you want to store any type of value, so you have object type. Okay, so object type, we can store any type of value. Okay, so let me store as object. And also we have one more data type from Java 11 onwards. It is not a data type, it is a keyword only. Okay, so where keyword. So if you want to assign any type of value, you can assign. Okay, into any type of value. Object and var, it can hold any type of value. Okay. So now we define these values inside the main method. Okay, inside the main method, we define these values inside the main method. So you can access only inside this main method only. Suppose if you create any other method, suppose let me create one addition method. If I want to print any of these values, or let me create method as display. If I want to display any of this value inside, like from display method, so let me write one print statement. Okay, so if I want to display this boolean 1, you will get error. Suppose if you write the same statement here, okay, it will not give the error. The difference is, so you can access these local variables inside this method only. You cannot access inside other method. Suppose if you want to create local variable into display method, you can do that. The same values with the same name, you can create inside a display method again. Okay, it will not give any error. But inside this method, if you create the duplicate name, it will give you the error. Okay, so we have to consider this block. Okay, block specific. Okay, inside this block, you cannot write duplicate one. Okay, outside the block, you can write. Okay, the same variables you can create. So where we cannot create outside as a global variable, you can declare as a global variable. Okay, to differentiate these names. Okay, so global variables we are able to see as, so global variables are in blue color and local variables are in some brown color, right? See, okay, even though you are writing duplicate values inside this block, okay, there is a difference between local variable and the global variable. That is the reason. So it is allowing us to create the duplicate name, okay, for local variables. Okay, so coming to block, the scope of, generally we call it as scope, the scope of these values up to this block only. So you cannot access outside. And the scope of these local variables is up to this display method only. You cannot access outside. But these values you can access inside all these methods. Okay, so we have some rules to access. Okay, if we have static keyword before any method, so these values you cannot access directly. So static methods can accept only static values. Okay, so if you don't have static keyword before any method, you can access global variables directly, even though it is static or instance. What is static, what is instance, I will explain later. Okay, so let me rename these values as some 2.
Yeah.
Okay, these the difference between the local variables and global variables I will explain later. Okay, so as of now, I just rename. We can use the same name also, but the difference I will explain later. Okay, suppose if you want to print boolean 2 value, so you can print directly into this display method. Okay, it doesn't contain any static keyword before the method.
we can't do it. We can't do it.
Okay, you can access directly. Okay, so here also you can print that value, okay, boolean 2 value. So here you cannot access because if you have static keyword before your method, okay, in the method declaration. So when you write one statement, that we call it as declaration. Okay, this is also declaration. In the method declaration, if you have static keyword, it won't allow global variables directly. Whatever the variable having the static keyword, that only it will accept. Okay, why it will accept only static, that I will explain later. It is very simple. Okay, but if you don't have that static keyword in the method declaration, okay, it will allow both static and non-static variables. Generally, instance variables, we can also call it as non-static variables. Okay, yeah, so our concept is only local variables. So the rules are, so once you create inside some method block, we can only create inside a method block. Local variables we can only create inside a method block, and inside method we can write some other blocks also. Okay, there also we have some restrictions. Those I will explain. So these local variables, if you define, okay, you must initialize the value. Okay, you must initialize the value means, suppose I'm creating int a. Okay, so this is declaration. Suppose if you assign some value to it, some a equals to 100, this is initialization. Okay, the same rules apply for global variables also. So let me create int a. Let me define int a, some a equals to 100. Okay, this you cannot perform. Okay, so here you are performing the operation. Okay, you can, if you want, you can declare like this, but initialization you cannot do the outside of methods, because methods only can do the operation. You cannot do, methods only will do the operation. Okay, you can declare, and initialization you can do it later. Okay, suppose, so here I have declared local variable as a again. So I have initialized inside a method. It is allowing because it is a method. Okay, so it will allow the operation. Okay, assigning also an operation, but here you are performing both at a time, initialization and also declaration. So that time it will accept. If you want to perform the operation separately, assigning the assignment operation separately, that will not allow outside the method. Okay, so now I can print this a value. Okay, I can print this a value. Okay, so let me rename it as a1 to differentiate local variable and global variable. Okay, we have another way to differentiate, but as of now, so we will give the separate names. Okay, suppose if I want to print global variable a1, that is also possible, because it doesn't contain any static to restrict the global variable. You can directly print. So what is the difference then for the global variables and the local variables? So suppose if you don't assign any value, you will get the error for local variable. In the you will get the error when you are printing that local variable. But coming to global variable, it is not throwing any error. It is not throwing any error. But for local variables, it is throwing error. So in both the cases, we didn't assign any value. But for local variable, it is not throwing. It is throwing the error, and global variables, it is not throwing the error. So this is the main difference. Okay, we have to remember always. So whenever you use a local variable, that local variable must be initialized with some value. Okay, without initialization, you cannot use that local variable. Okay, if you want to print or if you want to perform some operation, you have to initialize that value. Okay, so both the statement you can do at a time, declaration and initialization, or you can do it separately. But before using it, you have to initialize. Okay, but coming to the global variables, no need to initialize initially. Okay, while using also, suppose if you want to perform operation also with the global variable, no need to initialize. Suppose a1 plus a, you can do. Okay, but there is no value inside the a1, but still you have a facility to use that variable. Okay, but for local variables, you don't have that option. You must initialize the value before using it. Okay, so you can create duplicate local variables. Duplicate means inside the block you cannot create the duplicate variable name, but method to method it will be different. Okay, so in another method you can define the same variables. Okay, if you take these two methods, okay, these two methods are having the variables with same name. Okay, so this is very important. This is very important. Okay, global variables also you can have the same name. For local variables and global variables, you can have the same name. Okay, but while accessing, we have another approach. Okay, what is that we will discuss in the OOPS concept. Okay, so first we work with the local variables. Okay, so generally, like we take the data through variables and we perform the operation through methods. Okay, either local variable or global variable, we take the data. Then we will perform the operation. Okay, so to perform the operation, we have operators. Okay, so we have different types of operators. So first one is assignment operator. Okay, assignment operators. So then we have relational operators. Okay, so before that we have incremental operators. Incremental operators. Relational operators. Logical operators. Okay, ternary operator. This is only single operator. Ternary operator. And also we have instance of operator. Instance of operator. So it is like this. This is also single operator, but it is not a symbol, it is a keyword. Okay, so above all these are some symbols to perform the operation, but coming to instance of operator, it is keyword. Okay, so along with these 6, we have 2 more operators. One is bitwise operator. Okay, shift operators. Okay, shift operators and bitwise operators. So 99.9 we won't use these two. Okay, no need to discuss about these two operators. 99% we won't use this. Okay, these are related to bits. Okay, suppose if you have a value, suppose if you declare some value like this. Okay, in computer language, everything will be converted to zeros and ones. Okay, so your computer can understand only 0 and 1 only. Okay, so this value will be converted into binary code. Okay, similarly, using bitwise operators, what you can do is you can perform the operations on bits. Okay, if you want to like compare the bits, if you want to shift the bits, okay, that time we will use bitwise operators. So 99.9% we won't use. Okay, so I will not discuss this. Okay, it takes a lot of time to explain, and also there is no use also, even though I take more time to explain. Okay, these two not required. Okay, so these assignment operators, okay, all these operators to perform the operation on data. Okay, so what are the assignment operators we have? Okay, so the first operator we have is equal. Okay, so assigning a value, equals symbol, not equals to symbol or assignment symbol. Okay, so this is not, generally we should not call it as equals symbol or equal to symbol. It is a assignment symbol. Okay, after that we have plus equals to symbol, minus equals to symbol. Okay, to assign the value only. So we have, okay, so assignment operators. Okay, so along with this, okay, after assignment operator we have one more operator. I forgot to take that. Arithmetic operators. These are common mathematical operations. Okay, so in assignment operators you can assign a value with the help of these symbols, and also we have multiplication equals to and division equals to, modular division equals to. All these are assignment operators. Coming to mathematical operators or arithmetic operators, we have plus, minus, multiplication, division, and modular division. Okay, if you want to increment the value or decrement the value, okay, you have plus plus, minus minus to increment or decrement. Relational operators. Okay, if you want to provide the relation between, if you want to compare the relation between the data, okay, we have relational operators. Okay, so relational operators are equals, not equals, less than, greater than, less than or equals to, greater than or equals to. Coming to logical operators. We have, suppose if you want to compare more data, okay, so generally using relational operators, we can compare or we can check the relation between two variables. Okay, only we can compare the two data only. Okay, two separate data. Okay, two variables, data we are storing into variables. That is the reason we should call it as variable only. We can compare between two variables. Suppose if you want to compare more than two variables, okay, you can compare with the logical operators. Okay, we have logical and, okay, logical or and not. Okay, ternary operator. Okay, this is also very important. Ternary operator, it is little bit difference. Okay, so before explaining it, okay, so these are just to assign the value. Okay, so to assign the value into the variable, so we use assignment operator. Okay, nothing it will do. Okay, whenever you perform arithmetic operation, okay, you always get the result in the form of data only. Okay, you will get the result in the form of data. You will get the data. Okay, so these arithmetic operators, when you perform the operation with arithmetic operator, result also you will get it as data. Okay, coming to incremental operators. So here also you will get the data once you perform the operation. Once you perform the operation, here also you will get the data. But coming to relational operators, so you always get either true or false, either true or false, because these relational operators we are using to check the relation between the data. Okay, so that time it will not return any value. Return any value means it will return any data. It always returns true or false. Similarly, these logical operators also returns true or false. Okay, coming to ternary operator. This ternary operator, it can return data and it can return true or false. If you want to return the data, you can return, or if you want to return true or false, that also you can return. Okay, any value you can return with the ternary operator, either data or comparison result. So we have operator is like, okay, so here you need to put the some operation here, some operation. Okay, some operation should return true or false. Okay, that operation you have to write here. Okay, so you need to use the question mark. Suppose if you want to return some data, okay, you can return data. Alternate data also you can return based on true or false. You can return data, or you can return true or false. Anything you can return. Okay, there is no restriction. Anything you can return. So instance of operator, okay, this is purely related to object-oriented programming. Okay, OOPS concept related operator to check the object type. Okay, what is object type we will discuss later. Okay, instance of operator, so it will check object type and it always returns true or false. Again, it returns true or false only. Okay, so true or false we have to write always in small letters, because these are also keywords. Okay, so first we discuss all these operators, okay, with the local variables. Okay, let me create one more class. Operators. Some example. Okay, so you can perform operations on data, any kind of data. So let me take two local variables. Let me take string. Some str. Let me take some character also. Okay, so first we discuss the arithmetic operators. So we already using one arithmetic operator. Okay, assignment operator we are already using. Okay, you are assigning the value. Let me write like this. Okay, this is assignment operator. So you declare a variable and you are assigning the value. Okay, this is assigning the value. Assignment operator you are using to assign the value. Okay, So suppose you already declared a value as 10. Okay. If you want to assign 20, okay, again no need to write a equals to 20. Like this, no need to write. Okay. What you can do is you can simply write a plus 10. A plus 10. Okay. So here I will print a value. Okay. So after assigning like this, I'll print again a value. Sorry. So I have to print. Okay, first it will print 10. Second it prints 20. Okay, so let me write like this. Yeah. So you can run your program. So let me run it. Okay, so it is not saved. It is asking to save. See, so a value increase it to 20. Okay, so when you use plus, which means a equals to a plus 10. Okay, this statement means a equals to a plus 10. Okay, so already you assigned a value as 10. So here it is taking 10 plus 10. Okay, like this you can use the plus equals to operator both together. Okay, if you want to decrease the value some 5, a minus equals to 5. Okay, so now if you print, it prints 15. See, suppose if you want to multiply 15 with some 5, you can use a into a asterisk equals. Okay, this symbol we call it as asterisk. For multiplication purpose, we use this asterisk symbol. If you use a asterisk equals to 5, it prints 15 into 5, 75 it prints. Okay, if you want to assign value some again 15 to your a value, you can use, now already a value is 75. So if you divide with 5, it will become 50. Okay, so this is a equals to a minus 5. Okay, so when you use double slash, okay, which means you are commenting. Okay, so you don't want, if you don't want to execute, you can use double slash. So this is a into 5. This is a division 5. Okay, so in mathematics we have, okay, two values you will get when you divide. Okay, one is remainder and another one is quotient. Okay, if you want to get the quotient, you can use division operator. Okay, it prints 15 again. See, if you want the remainder, suppose now my value is 50. Okay, if I use division operator, if I want to divide 15 with 2, okay, how much I will get? If I divide with the 2, how much I will get? Okay, let me print it. I'm getting 7. Okay, quotient is 7. Okay, if you want to get the remainder, okay, so 7 2s are 14. Okay, still we have value 1. Okay, if you add 1 only, it will become 15. Okay, if you want to get that remainder value after performing the operation, okay, so if you use division operator, it won't give the remainder. If you use modular division, we have one more operator, modular division. If you use it, it gives you the remainder. So now you will get the value as 1. Okay, so like this, you can perform the multiplication operation, you can assign the value, you can perform addition operation, and you can assign directly with the help of plus equals. Similarly, division you can perform, multiplication you can perform, and modular division also you can perform. The value again you can initialize or you can assign to the variable. Okay, these are the arithmetic operators. Okay, so here a division 2, modular division 2. Okay, got it. Okay, assignment operators we have done, and also along with that we have done arithmetic operators. Okay, with these statements we are performing both arithmetic operation and also assignment operation. So now incremental operators. Incremental operators. See, if you want to increment your variable value to 1, okay, your variable, suppose if you have some value into your variable, suppose you have 1 now, okay, that if you want to increment to +1, if you want to add one more one value to the variable, okay, so if you want to directly add some value, you are using this operator, but I want to always increase only one value. Okay, one value I want to, if I want to increase, we have incremental operators. Those are plus and minus. Okay, again these are two types. These incremental operators are two types. Okay, one is pre-increment, another one is post-increment. Pre-increment and post-increment. Okay, how to do that? Pre-increment means, so you have b value. Okay, so let me take a value only. So if I want to increase now a value is 1. Okay, if I want to increase the value to, if I want to add the value, one more value to a, what I can do is simply I can do a plus plus. Okay, if I print my a value, so a will be printed as, as 2. Okay, if I want to decrease the value 1, you can simply use a minus minus. Now we are getting 1. So we have this we call it as post increment. Okay, a plus plus. After a, if you have these symbols, increment operators, these we call it as post increment. So same thing you can define plus plus a. This is pre-increment. You are incrementing it as pre-increment. Okay, again it will print 2. Okay, pre-decrement. But the difference I will explain. Minus minus a. If you print, again it will become 1. Okay, so what is the difference between this pre-increment and post-increment? Okay, both are returning same value, right? Okay. So generally, in the print statement also we can do the operation. Suppose if I do the operation, increment operation here, a plus plus, what it will print? So now my a value is 1. With this statement, what it will print? You might assume that it prints value 2, but it prints value 1 only. Okay. Suppose the same thing, let me comment it. This one I'm commenting. If I do the pre-increment operation, plus plus a, so now it will print 2. After 1, it prints 2. See, so that is the difference. Okay. So here, when you use the pre-increment operation, the value immediately changes. Okay. If you do the post-increment operation or post-decrement operation, the value will not be changed at the same line. In the same line, it will not change. In the next line, it will change. Okay. So let me comment it. Okay. I'm doing the post-increment operation. So now I will get 1 only. But if I print the same statement, a value, if I print the a value without doing any operation, so now it prints, after 1, it prints 2. Okay, so value is increased, but in this statement it won't print. Okay, so in the next line it will, if you want to get that value, incremented value, in the next line you can get. Okay, that is the difference for post increment and pre increment that is the difference between pre increment and post increment. Similarly, decrement also do the same. Okay, pre decrement, it decreases immediately in the same line, and post decrement, in the next line it will decrease the value. Okay, so now, so way to use these symbols, way to perform these operations, we will discuss. Okay, so now relational operators. Okay, as I said, if you want to check the relation between the data, okay, we have to use relational operators or logical operators. We have to use either relational operators or logical operators, both combination also we will use. Okay, so let me assign value a plus. So now a value is 2, right? I'm adding some 8 to my a value, so it becomes 10. A value become 10. Okay, so not here. Let me write. So now a value is 10, b value equal to 20. Okay, so let me print a value, and also b value I will print. So now a value is 10. So b value also 10. Print it. Okay, a value 10 and b value 20. So now I want to perform some relational, I want to check the relation between a and b. Okay, so when you check the relation, it always returns true or false. Okay, so here, let me check that. Okay, I want to check the relation between a and b. So both equal or not, I want to check. Okay, a equals to b. Double equals to means you are checking the condition. Okay, a equals to b. Both are having the same value or not. Okay, when you use it, you will get the value as true or false. Okay, so it prints true or false. See, both are not equal. That is the reason it is returning the false. Okay, if you want to store this result, Okay, I want to store this result into some variable. Okay, so I'm checking the condition. That result I want to store into some variable. Okay, to store the result true or false, we have Boolean data type. That is the reason we have Boolean data type to store the result of relational operations or logical operations. Okay, this Boolean value you can print. Okay, so directly you can print, or if you want to store the result value, you can use the Boolean type. So that is the reason we have Boolean data type. Okay, same value it will print false. Okay, so if I want to check which one is bigger or which one is smaller. Okay, so if you want to check A less than B, so A value is A less than B means A value is lesser than B. A value is smaller than B. Okay, if you want to check, you can use less than symbol. True. If you want to check greater than B. Again false. A is not greater than B. So you can check multiple conditions. Okay, equals to and less than, equals to and greater than, if you want to check together. Okay, A less than or equals to. Okay, either less than or equal, both the conditions you are checking. Okay, here you are checking A less than B or A equals to B. If you want to check both the conditions at a time, you can use this operator, less than or equals to. Okay, so suppose if the first condition is true, then it won't check the next condition. Okay, it will directly print. Okay, back end it will takes like that. Okay, if first condition is false, it goes to the next condition. Again you will get true. Similarly, you can use A greater than B. Okay, it checks A greater than B or A equals to B. Okay, so we have one more operator. If both the values are equal or not, if you want to check, for equal, you have equal operator. Okay, if you want to check not equal or not, for that also we have operator not equals to operator. You can use not equals to B. So it will return true. Okay, so these are the relational operators. Okay, so if you want to check, so here again you are checking the two conditions. Okay, so I want to check more than two conditions, or so these are enough to compare the data as of now. Okay, suppose if I want to check A greater than or equals to B and also A not equals to B, if I want to check, how I can check? Suppose I have three variables. Okay, so like A, B, I have one more variable. Okay, that time how can I check the relation? How can I check the relation between? Okay, how can I compare the data between three variables? Okay, to perform that, we have logical operators. So along with the relational operators, we will use the logical operators. Okay, suppose I have C value equals to 30. Okay, I want to compare with the A and B. How I can compare? Okay, so let me check. So A equals to C, and I want to check A, sorry, equals to B. If I want to check these two conditions, how I can check? Okay, with the help of logical operators. Okay, we can check the condition. So here you have around three logical operators. First, I explain OR operator. When you use OR operator, first it checks A equals to C. Okay, so A is not equals to C. A value is 10, C value is equal to 30. It is false. Okay, again, when it is false, it comes to the next condition whenever you are using OR. Okay, so it will check A equals to B. Again, it is false. So then it will return false. Okay, if I run it, it returns false. The same statement, if I use with not equals, A not equals to C. In this case, the first condition itself is true. It won't come to the next condition. Okay, so now it will print true only. Okay, so now if I use another operator, AND operator. So whenever you are using AND operator, it always checks all the conditions. Okay, it checks first condition and it checks the second condition. Okay, if it is true, it won't exit, but in the OR case it will exit immediately, but in the AND case it won't exit. Okay, it checks the both conditions. So now we will get, so in this case we are getting, in OR operator we are getting true, but in this AND condition we will get false. Why we are getting false? So OR operator, generally, if any condition is true, it returns true. Returns true. Okay. So here, all conditions true, then only it can return true. Okay, that is the main difference. Okay, we should not confuse. Okay, so not only, so see here, not only two conditions. If you want to write more than one condition, more than two conditions, that also possible. You can write n number of conditions. You can write or B equals to C or B not equals to C. Or you can write A less than B. You can write any n number of conditions, A less than or equals to B, any number of conditions. So then how it will check? Suppose if we have the statement, how it will check?
It will check one by one, Shiva.
So one by one condition it will check, and if any condition is true, immediately it will return true.
Yes.
Let me go on this. Yeah. Okay. But coming to this understatement, if any one condition is false, okay, suppose let me write one more condition and A greater than or equals to B. If any one condition is false, it immediately returns false. Okay, so we have truth table. Okay, let me show you that. You will understand it better. Okay, so these are the usages of relational and logical operators. Okay, so let me show you the truth table. findings. Okay, we have truth table. Oh, where it is? Yeah. So what is the need of checking the data? Okay, what is the need of comparing the data when performing the operation? Okay, we have already like operators, arithmetic operators to perform the operation. But what is the need of comparing the data? Where I have to compare? After comparing, what I have to do? Okay. Yeah. So the usage of these operators generally we use with the conditional statements and also looping statements. Okay. So this is the truth table. Okay. See, suppose if you are using AND operator, okay, there are P and Q are your condition results. Okay. So in one condition you got the result as true, and another condition Q condition you got the result as true. When you use AND symbol, okay, that time you will get true only. When you use or also you will get true. Okay. Suppose if you want to change the result. Okay. So let me show you that also. So here in this case, I am getting this for this entire expression, I'm getting false. I want to make it as true. If I want to make it as true, what I do is for this entire expression, I will put it as not. So now this inner expression, I will get it as false. That I want to make it as true. That time I can use not operator. This is also logical operator. Okay. So let me copy this. Okay. So in this case, the same expression when I put not, okay, I will get. So in this case, we are getting true. Why we are getting true? We should not get true whenever we are using. Okay. So here, how it will check is, okay. So here it is true. Then it is false, which becomes true only. Again, true and false. It become true only. From here, true and true. It become true. True and true. Again, it become true. So here also, it become true. True and true. In this case, A greater than or equals to B. So in this case, at least we should get false. But why it is returning as true in this case? So let me check. So A value is 10 and B value is 20 only. Let me rerun again. Okay, so for this expression, we definitely get false. So let me compare this operation. So here I'm getting true, here false, which becomes true only. So here also up to this it will true. Again, it will true again. So here also it will true. Less than B, again it will true. So, but in this case, we should get false. Okay, let me print whether I'm getting true or false for this statement. A is not greater than or equals to B, right? So yeah, we are getting false, but why it is like returning true? Okay, this I will check and I will let you know. Okay, so in this case, some expression is like it is executing in some another order. Okay, so another order means we have some rules. Okay, some rules like we have BODMAS rules. BODMAS. Okay, in BODMAS rule there are some precedents. Okay, to perform operation, but here we are not using any arithmetic operations, just we are comparing, but still I will check and I will let you know. Okay, if you want to alter the result, the end result, so you can use not symbol. Okay, so if you look at this table, whenever you use logical and, okay, if all the conditions are true, then only it will return true. Otherwise, if any condition is false, it always returns false. Okay, in this column you can see, in the only true condition only it is returning true. Coming to R condition, if any condition is true, then it will return true. Okay, if all conditions are false, then only it will return false. Coming to not condition, not logical not, that you can change the end result. If you want to change that, you can change with the help of logical not. Okay, yeah. So we have two more operators. Okay, so one I will explain, another one. So we have to like this one I cannot explain now. Okay, this is related to object oriented programming. Okay, ternary operator I will explain. So if you observe these statements, all these statements, it is returning always true or false. Okay, so by performing arithmetic operations or increment operations, you are getting always some value. Okay, so based on my requirement, if I want to return either true or false or data, if I want to return any type of value, we have one more operator, that is ternary operator. Okay, so ternary operator, so you have to use expression, question mark, and colon symbol. Okay, how we can use? So here the expression you can put a less than b. If a less than b, return a value. If a not less than b, return b value. Okay, so if I use this ternary operator like this, okay, we have to use expression, question mark, which value you want to return if it is true, which value you want to return if it is false, that you have to mention here by separating colon. Okay, so if you run it, it returns a because a is less than b. In true condition, it takes the first one. In false condition, it takes the second one. The same expression, if I want to return true or false, that also I can do. Okay, I want to return true or I want to return false. In this case, it returns true or false. Okay, so the same condition, I want to return string value. If a equals to a less than or equals to b, I want to return a is small. The string value I'm returning. Okay, so here you can say b is small. So sorry. So here b is big. You can return string. Or if you want to return character, yes, you can return character also. You can return any value. Okay, you can return hues, like you can perform hues operation also here. Instead of performing, see here, instead of printing the value, what I'm doing is here, I'm performing the operation. Okay,
But Shiva, but if we gives a double column, then it will take a string only, na?
it always takes as a string. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so you can do operation also, a plus b plus c. Okay, you can perform operation, that value will be printed. See, when I do a plus b, 10 plus 20 is it is doing. Suppose if I make it as a greater than b, it prints a plus b plus c. 60 it will print. Operation also you can perform. Okay, that is the use of ternary operator. It is useful. Okay, I can't say it is very important. It is useful. Okay, so why we are, first of all, why we are performing this comparison? Okay, so these comparisons generally, if you want to perform some operation based on some condition. Okay, so I want to like, suppose if you take the bank transactions. Okay, so whenever, like if you want to withdraw some money from some ATM or from your bank, you should have sufficient balance, right? So without having the sufficient balance, you cannot withdraw money. Okay, so first I need to check whether I have the sufficient balance to withdraw. Suppose if I want to withdraw from 10,000, you should have 10,000 in your account. Okay, otherwise you cannot withdraw. So how I can put the condition over there, like to check the sufficient balance. Okay, so using these relational and logical operators, we will perform this. Okay, where I can use these relational operators again. So to use these relational operators, we have conditional statements and looping statements. Okay, conditional statements and looping statements. So we have conditional statements, if condition. Okay, again, if condition, it is in the form of if else. Okay, we have if else, and else. If else, and else. You can write multiple blocks. If else, again if else, and else. If you want to write inner conditions also, you can write. Okay, all these are blocks only. Okay, we call it as blocks. Conditional statements are conditional blocks. Okay, block is nothing but, see, block is nothing but, so here also we are writing method block. Okay, if you start with some curly brace, if you stop with some closing curly brace, this we call it as block. Okay, this entire thing we call it as block. Okay, similarly, while writing conditional statements or looping statements, okay, we write the blocks. How to write? Okay, so here using ternary operator, we are already performing conditional operation only. So here based on my condition only, I'm performing this operation, either this or this. Okay, so now using if conditions, how we can do? Okay, how I can write the if statements? So if condition, if you want to write, you need to use keyword if. You need to put the block like this. So inside this parenthesis, you have to write the condition. Okay, so you can write this if condition alone, or if condition is not satisfying, you can write one more block to perform some other operation. Else also you can write, if condition is not satisfying, so else will be executed. Okay, so if condition is satisfied, this block, if block, will be executed, otherwise else block will be executed. Like this you can write. You can write multiple conditions. Here also you can write multiple conditions in this block, or you can separate it also. So if you want to write multiple conditions like this, you can put like this, and along with else also you can write multiple conditions. If you want, you can write inside if condition, you can write one more if condition. Okay, so nested if conditions, generally we call it as nested if. If you want, you can write nested if conditions. Okay, so here also you can write if else. Okay, condition must be provided. Okay, so how to write the if condition? Let me explain. Suppose here the same, the using ternary operator, we are performing some operation, right? So here the same using if condition, how I can do that? So if A less than B, okay, then print A. Then print A value with if condition, okay, to differentiate the results. A. Okay, if A less than B, then it will return A. I mean, then it prints this value. See, it is printing that value. Suppose A greater than B, if you use, it won't execute this statement. Okay, so whenever we use if conditional statements, if condition is true, then it enters to this block. Otherwise, it won't enter. But you want to perform some operation. Okay, so with the if condition, if the condition is not satisfying, okay, then I want to give a alternate operation. I want to perform a alternate operation. In that case, you can use else condition. Okay, the same thing you can write else condition. Okay, if you want to provide a alternate solution, if A greater than B, okay, then print the B value. Okay, otherwise print the A value. If you want to put some condition, okay, then you can use conditional statements. See, now A value again printing. Suppose you can put more than one condition. If you want to put more than one condition, if A greater than B or A greater than or A less than C, okay, then print the B value. So now if this condition is true, then it won't come to the next block, next statement inside this if condition. Okay, so when you write like this, it consider this entire statement as a single statement. Okay, so whenever it is executing, it checks this condition. If condition is true, it enters to this block. After performing the operation inside a block, it will come out from this if statement, entire if statement. It won't execute the next statement. Okay, so if you run it now, it will print the B value, not A value. Okay, so here, okay, in this statement it is printing A value. Okay, here in this statement it is printing B value because it is taking the next condition. See, B is printed. So the same if statement you can write like this: A greater than B, else if A less than C. Okay, if A greater than B, print the B value. If A less than C, then print the C value. So now it checks. First, it checks first statement, first condition. Okay, if condition is not true, then it comes to the next if else if condition. Okay, it checks this condition. See, C is printed. So you can write if else if and also else also you can write. Okay, combinations you can write. Not matching, some not satisfying any condition. Some alternate solution. Okay, here A greater than C I will put. So now it prints not satisfying any condition. See, so these two conditions are not satisfying. First it's checking the first condition, second condition also it is checking, then it is coming to the else state. Suppose if you want to write inner statements, okay, the same thing you can write if A greater than B. Okay, so it is these two conditions are false, right? So inside else condition, if you want to, or inside if you condition, if you want to put one more condition, that is also possible. Here also you can write if condition. If b less than, if b less than c or b greater than c, okay, then print b. Okay, then print b value. Otherwise, else you can put no condition is satisfied. So here also you can put like this. Okay, I will explain one example. Okay, after starting this oops concept, that time you will understand this better. See, no condition is satisfying. Enter this conditional statement. That is the reason else block is executing. So here first it is entering the else block. Again here it is checking b greater than c or less than c. Or you can do, if you put b less than c. So in this case it is true, right? So in the after the not satisfying any condition statement, it prints b value if condition b. See. Okay, inner blocks also it is changed. So these are the if conditions. Okay, so looping statements we have. Okay, looping statements are very, very important for our testing. Okay, most of the time we use looping statement and conditional statements for our testing, because in testing we always check the result, right? We always compare the result with expected and actual. Okay, conditional statements we always use in the testing, automation testing and manual testing also. First we use the conditions, compare the expected and actual results. Okay, these are important. Okay, to replace these conditional statements, we have like in unit test libraries we have assertions. Okay, but even though we use assertions, if conditions we always use, and looping statements also we always use, because different sets of data, we check the same functionality with different sets of data. Okay, in that case you have to perform the same operation repeatedly with a different set of data, right? If you want to perform an operation repeatedly, okay, you have to use the looping statements. Okay, those are also very important. Okay, tomorrow we will continue. So these looping statements, and also we have basic concept of variable types. Once we complete, from Sunday onwards we can start the oops concept. Okay, yeah. Okay, let me stop this recording.